Finally, Eagle fans are talking about this edge rusher, our last pick of the sixth round that everybody is starting to talk about. Why wasn't he an earlier draft pick in this draft? And the Eagles are taking a chance, but with statistics like that, the Eagles just couldn't pass up. And we have to wonder what's going on. And we're going to be talking about Dallas Goddard as well because we really didn't touch on this. Ian Rapport had a lot to say about Dallas Goddard, the trade that's going down, but this might be really good news for the Eagles. So let's get straight into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. Hope everyone is doing very well. We have a lot to discuss here post-draft. Hope everyone's feeling good about it. I want training camp to get here as fast as possible. We have to talk about an edge rusher, obviously, with the last pick of the sixth round for the Eagles was a questionable one because the statistics of this player really popped out. Okay, we're talking about Antoine Pal Ryland from Virginia Tech. Okay, the numbers are just off the charts. Okay, when it comes to Antoine Pal Ryland, he had 16 sacks, 19 tackles for loss last season. Yes. Over the last 2 years, he had 25.5 sacks, 33.5 tackles for loss, 9 forced fumbles in the last 3 seasons. Okay, with numbers like that, you're kind of questioning why is this guy being drafted in the sixth round. Okay, now I know that he was a transfer. He was at another school for a couple of years, and then transferred to Virginia Tech. His last 2 seasons. Okay, this is a guy that usually as a sixth round pick, or you're going to pick up an edge rusher this late. Not a lot of tools in the toolbox, not a lot of football moves, and this guy has plenty of it. Okay, yes, he looks very NFL ready when it comes to how he gets off blocks, and it's kind of insane. He's projected to be a rotational guy, which we all know that he's projected to be a third down edge rusher in the NFL. Okay, I'm guessing on his pro day from his raw score. So 40-yard dash 4.89, which is pretty 4.69, which is really good. 20-yard split 2.72, 10-yard split 1.63. I can't read these numbers. I'm like blind right now. His height, it could be a little taller. His weight at 258, sure, he can get another 10, 15 pounds, which the Eagles will get him to that. So I'm not really worried about that. Very good vertical jump. Really very good vertical, really good broad jump, which is great. He has average hand size, average arm length, and his RAS score is 9.17 out of 10 points, which is pretty good. Okay. To be a sixth round pick and to have this much athletic ability is kind of weird. But the knock on Antoine Powell Ryland apparently is a metric that a lot of teams didn't like. And it seems like that he's got really short arms. And there are times where he gets sucked into blocks and can't get out because he just has no leverage. And that's probably been one of his biggest problems in college. But when he is on, he is on. And the Eagles felt like they really had to take a chance on him. This isn't like, we're talking defensive line. This isn't a Moro Ojomo type pick. Like these numbers, I'm sorry, but it's way too much. 2 years in a row he did this. It's not like a pick like that. Or when we drafted Milton Williams a few years ago, I think there was a rumor going around about his metric of having short arms as well. But look what he's produced for the next few years on the Philadelphia Eagles, and now is one of the highest paid DTs in the league, especially average per year by the New England Patriots, highest in history. Okay. This is a guy that's going to come in and we're going to see what he's got. And let me tell you, with so many edge rushers on this roster right now, between Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt, and obviously you have Ojulari, you have Josh Uche. I mean, you have a lot of guys. And Bryce Huff, I mean, I don't think he's even going to last because I think a lot of these guys are going to beat him out on the depth chart, and we'll see what happens to his future post June if he gets released and try to dump that contract. But this is one of the more spicy ones that I'm going to be paying close attention to come training camp. Just like last year, they drafted Jalix Hunt in the 3rd round. This was a hand-picked pick by Vic Fangio. Got hurt, came back, played a lot of special teams, and then finally got into the rotation. And then he really started to soar during the playoffs. And he's really coming to his own as a player, especially coming from a small school, seeing that athletic ability that he was a safety transition to an edge rusher to Jalix Hunt has really proved us wrong in a lot of ways. And you just got to throw guys in there and give them a chance. And they finally did. And I'm glad they gave him a chance. And he's turning into a great player right now. Hopefully that continues. A guy like this, I mean, it can only get better. I mean, look, if this is the dink on your head, okay? If this is what every team passed on this kid because of small arms, I mean, then he really is going to go out there and prove himself. Okay. And I'm pretty excited about it. I really am. Because when they drafted an edge rusher with the 6th round pick, you're thinking, a guy that can produce the next few years. And sure, they're going to be producing him. I don't think this kid's going to be perfect, but let me tell you something. You see flashy numbers like that in 2 seasons. I mean, 16 sacks is pretty amazing. 19 tackles for loss, pretty amazing. If you have an edge rusher in here that's good against the run, it's even better, because these edge rushers get paid top dollar, to get after the quarterback. And this guy could do it. Go watch his tape. It's absolutely amazing. And if that's the main reason why teams passed on this kid, then I don't know what to tell you. But, that's all that information I really know about him so far, because I don't really watch Virginia Tech that much. I've only read what I read and seen what I've seen as I have so far. So in the rotation and in the competition, this training camp, we're going to see what this kid's all about. And, maybe, he'll never be an every down edge rusher in Philadelphia because we have a rotation. But if he just has some pass rush pedigree that's so good and the Eagles just have to keep him on the active roster, it's going to be one of the biggest signs of the offseason, especially, obviously coming off this draft to be one of the, this would be a steal if he could do something and at least be disruptive and see what he does against competition in training camp. So that's really the hit on him is pretty much a very small metric. And I think teams are taking that way too seriously to pass on a player like that. And I think it's going to light a fire under this kid. So let me know what you guys think about Antoine Pal Ryland. I thought I really had to talk about him again. A lot of Eagle fans have been talking about him. Like, how is this guy even drafted? How is this guy not drafted higher? Everybody was kind of trying to figure that out. Now, the last thing I want to talk about today is obviously Dallas Goddard. Okay, so Howie Roseman, obviously, if you didn't, I didn't cover this after going over all the draft picks because I wanted to keep this separate. Now, Ian Rappaport did talk about Dallas Goddard probably by the 5th round, 6th round, something like that, that a lot of teams have called the Eagles. And it looks like that, Dallas Goddard might want a new contract. I don't know what's going on. It looks like the Howie Roseman and Goddard are trying to get something done. It looks like that this is pretty good news for the Eagles because the Eagles didn't draft a tight end. Not one. You had that kid Granson. You have that Britt kid, those 2 free agents that you signed. There's nobody that you need. Dallas Goddard for one more year. You want to repeat a Super Bowl, whatever you have on this roster right now is just not going to cut for me. I don't care if Calcaterra has started a lot of games for the Eagles. Goddard is just that good. Okay. On top of missing 5 to 8 games a season, that hopefully if he's here this year, he won't miss that many games, but this is a big one for the Eagles that they can get him back. So when they didn't draft a tight end, not even one tight end to produce, nobody. So think of it. Britt is gone. Okay. Granson's gone. Calcaterra's gone. You have no tight ends even after this season. Okay. So you have to start thinking about tight end by next year because you have no bodies. I don't know if the Eagles are going to give him an extension. I think they're just going to redo his 1-year deal, but after Mason wasn't drafted from LSU, after he wasn't drafted in the 2nd round by the Eagles, they didn't aggressively move up and go get him. There was a big drop off in tight ends. in my opinion, there was no sense to really draft one because the Eagles signed already 4 this past offseason, 2 to future contracts for the offseason program, and literally 2 free agents. So we pretty much figured that this trade was going to go down. So I'm hoping they figure something out, and them not drafting a tight end, like I said, is probably a really good sign that he will be re-signed for this 1 year. He's 30 years old now. I don't see him getting some 3-4 year deal for by the Eagles. The Eagles got a lot more contracts they have to pay, but hopefully the two sides can come together and figure something out. Because once Dallas Goddard was told by the Eagles to go out and look for a trade partner, on top of the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson of him leaving, and then safety was really a glaring hole at the time. And now we had to worry about tight end. And I was just like, man, we didn't even have to worry about tight end. So I'm hoping they get something done. We really need him back for this one more year. Just one more year. That's all I'm asking for. Same thing with Josh Sweat. They redid the last year of his deal, and we were good. You know what I mean? So they need to figure something out, and I think it's coming close to that, hopefully. Because if they lose Dallas Goedert, then you might have to go out and trade for one. I don't know what you're going to do here. There's just nobody on this roster that's that good. And, we'll find out what happens, in the future. But them not drafting a tight end feels like it's going in the direction of good things, and Goddard returning. Howie Roseman did have his press conference after the draft, and he pretty much was like, Dallas Goedert's still on this roster. It's like, okay, I guess we're not going to get any type of answer, which I already expected anyway. So that's where we're at with Dallas Goedert, the entire situation with him. I mean, there's a lot of interest. Look, if the Eagles let me tell you, if someone offers like a second round pick for him or something like that, I think you got to pull the trigger on it just because you have to. But if it's a third or more, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but it sounds like Howie's trying to re-sign him back. And that's all we could really hope for at this time. So we'll see. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. We went over Antoine Pal Ryland. I want to hear from everybody in the comments. What do you guys think about him going forward? And do you think he's going to make some noise? Do you think he was disrespected in this draft with the numbers that he has? We'll find out. To let the truth be told, training camp tells us a lot about a lot of these players. But I'm very excited about it, and that's what everybody's talking about. So leave a comment in the comment section below. Definitely subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day, and definitely like the video because it helps out tremendously. Just reminiscing after the draft and feeling really good because I thought they had a pretty solid draft. I'll let you know my grade soon. I'll let you know about the undrafted free agents soon. Until that whole list is done, I will not go over them until it's like fully done. So then I could just go crazy with it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up, follow side. Peace out, guys. Peace.